It's 1977, and Steven Spielberg, fresh off of his earth-shattering success from Jaws, decides not to obsess over a peak in Wyoming, instead accepting an offer from the Salkinds to direct Superman, and our dreams all come true. We finally get to see the Fortress of Solitude made out of mashed potatoes.
But in that timeline, we lose the foundation of the gentle visitor narrative. The modern sci-fi cinemascape remains a wasteland of laser gun-wielding conquerors. There is no Arrival, there is no Project Hail Mary.
Or what if the prognosticating execs over at Paramount never canceled Philip Kaufman's Star Trek flick because there is no future in sci-fi? In that world, Kirk, Spock, and crew travel back to prehistoric Earth and eradicate the pod people before they even get a chance to snatch any bods.
Two masterworks that might have never existed. Only one alien visitor will be welcome to our watch list. The other will be ejected into the void.
This is The Essential Cut. Welcome to today's episode, Watch the Skies or Watch Your Back. I'm Ian, one half of the host team of the Essential Cut podcast.
I'm Michael, the other half. This is the podcast where we make the toughest decision any film lover can make. Which movie not to watch.
Even if you quit your job, ignored your children, stopped cleaning your house, stopped brushing your teeth, and only watched movies, it would take you an entire lifetime to get through all of the top movie watch lists out there.
So, we are chopping your watch list down to size.
In each episode of The Essential Cut, we select two movies that either have similar themes or occupy a similar place in our culture.
The movies may be forgotten gems, AFI Top 100s, or summer blockbusters. No movie is safe, no genre is off limits.
Then we subject the two movies to a series of tests to determine which one belongs on the Essential Cut watch list and which one will get removed forever.
Today, we're pitting Close Encounters of the Third Kind against Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Ian and I each have 3 awards that we'll independently give to each movie before we decide which one makes the Essential Cut.
In Phase 1, we'll award the film that packs the bigger emotional punch.
In Phase 2, we'll select the film we feel is most important to the cinemascape.
We'll also share what movie lovers are saying about it by reading their Letterboxd ratings and reviews.
Then, before we make the final determination as to which film will be deleted from the Essential Cut watch list, we will ask the all-important question.
Which is more entertaining? Disclosure Day is coming out the weekend that this episode launches, and it's rumored that it might be a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, something Spielberg said he would never do. But in the world of movie making, and especially Spielberg, never say never. It's time to put on our tinfoil hats. Let's check out Close Encounters of the Third Kind and see if it still hits like it did back in 1977.
All right, now just tell everybody that you fell asleep under the sunlight on the right side.
What for?
Dad, can I ask you a question?
What?
Are they for real? That's what for. No, they are not for real. I want you to go outside and have a hot dog, okay?
Ronnie, don't tell him that.
Roy, look, don't talk about this until you know what you're talking about, okay?
Ronnie, that's crazy. If I can't talk about it, then how am I going to know what's going on?
What?
Mom, I believe in him. I believe in him too.
Oh, no, you don't.
Dad says we do.
No, he does not. Do you, Roy?
Ronnie, all I want to do is know what's going on.
But nothing's going on. It's just one of those things.
Which things? Which things?
I don't want to hear about this
Ronnie,
anymore.
this is very important. I'm not just going to let it lay here. I'm going to call somebody about this. There's nothing... Ronnie, I saw something last night that I can't explain.
This is your first time seeing this movie, right?
It is.
Before we even get into the scene, I just got to know, like, what were your impressions?
It was not exactly what I thought it was going to be.
What did you think it was going to be?
I don't know. Whenever I go into a new like sci-fi alien movie, I think like I'm conditioned in a way to think that I'm about to watch like an action movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? And this very much is not that.
It is a very slow, it's kind of plodding. It's not quite clear what it's about. There's very little action.
Yeah. But more than that, it's that the movie is really thoughtful. It's complicated. And I think genre films, again, it's not always true. It's often not true. But I think first impression is always that these are kind of simple, surface level movies. And this one is really complex with complicated characters and no easy answers.
One of the things about this movie that I've seen it a couple of times, and I always forget how emotionally impactful it is. I remember the mashed potatoes. I remember the do. I'll remember that.
How could you forget?
Yeah. I mean, Williams' score on this, it might be my favorite John Williams score, and I think that it is just incredible.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, it is saying a lot, but I really do feel that way. And the way it works its way into the communication, then it's like such an important part of the narrative of the movie. But I rewatched it and I remember that it's not even about the aliens. It's about this family and the Neary's household and like how much empathy I have for Terry Garr's character. It's why I picked this clip, because this both makes me feel very, very at home, warm, cozy, like brings me to a very specific place. And it stresses me out a lot between all the crosstalk and the piano clanking in the background. And you hear a plane fly over their house. You know, they're in a flight path. Like there's so much that's happening in the soundscape of this very moment while they're having this very difficult discussion about the fact that Roy, Dreyfuss's character, is just like, he is realizing that he's lost.
And that's something I think Spielberg does very well. He understands families and family dynamics, and he puts us in this house that feels very real. It is a middle-class house with kids and all the trappings that come with that. It's kind of a mess, right?
It's more than kind of,
yeah.
I mean, it's a stressful mess.
It's a stressful mess. And then, as you were saying, the empathy you have for Terry Garr's character, Ronnie.
I love Ronnie.
Is one of my favorite things about this movie, because you have Roy, Richard Dreyfuss's character, who's our protagonist, who has this obsession about the aliens. And so we're set up to sort of identify with him. And I think in a lesser movie, we would be frustrated with Ronnie's skepticism or frustration with all of it. We'd be like, come on, lady, like get on board. There are aliens. He saw aliens. Why are
His face is burned.
Why are you being stubborn about this?
Yeah, like, why are you not listening?
But
to
because
Roy?
Spielberg builds this family so well, you see her as this matriarchal character who's just trying to protect her family.
She's just trying to keep her family together. And you can tell that the family's already like not the most stable unit. Before Roy Neary even has this sunburn on his face, has this encounter, you actually get to see a little bit of time in their house before everything sort of gets shaken apart and Roy's like questions about the universe come up. And, you know, he's building this train set in the middle of the living room and it's clearly taking up an enormous amount of space on this table. One of the kids who is too old to be in a playpen. In fact, all of their kids are probably too old to even have a playpen in the house, but it's like still out and he's jumping up and down in it. And you see Ronnie just being like, this is my family. I love this, but like I have to keep, this is what I have to wrangle. Is really, I have a bunch of kids and then I have a husband that is basically in a state of like arrested development. Like he's over here playing with toys. He's building models. He's trying to live out these dreams.
Yeah, you can see very early on that Roy has a vulnerability to running away to something else.
Yeah, like he's going to tip at any moment. And it's an alien encounter in this movie, but who knows what it could have been. And I mean, think
it could have been a younger woman in a Porsche, right?
I mean, I don't know that that's what would pull Roy away, though, because Roy feels like he has this imagination. Like he wants to build. He wants to make something. He wants to recreate something about the world around him because he just doesn't quite understand it. So, you know, when he has his encounter, he's out in his truck and he pulls out his map because he's lost. Now, he's a lineman. He lives here. Like, this is probably where he grew up. I mean, I don't think people move to Indiana where he lives in this town. Like, this is presumably his hometown, but he doesn't seem to have a good, like, grip on, like, the physical reality of space. He works in models. He works in replication. Like, I don't know that I want to call him abstract because he has like kind of a technical side to him, but he seems to not have a full grasp on like physical reality.
Yeah, he's not totally grounded. He's disconnected. And I think the alien encounter gives him an opportunity to matter in a way that maybe he doesn't feel like he does.
That's an interesting way of thinking about it, because you think that that's what he's looking for is like significance?
Well, it's meaning, right?
Yeah,
and if you have a hard time defining meaning, well, then when you see an opportunity for something significant, well, things that are significant mean something.
I mean, that's true. You know, he's he keeps saying that like he just wants answers, but he never really states what the questions are. He just wants to know what's going on. And I think that like that broad question, like what's going on, is sort of like on everybody's minds. And in this moment when the film is being made, because, you know, faith in the government has been probably, I would say, at an all-time low, but we might be rivaling that now.
It's not great.
It's not great. We're just, we've done better. But at this time, you know, you're post-Vietnam, you're post-Watergate, and it's like you're just looking for meaning. And then in this movie, there's a lot of like, well, the government's keeping things from Roy, keeping things from the people. And like, why? Like, what is it doing for them? And it's like, how do you break through that and get to the truth? And this is like the thing that he's so fascinated by, but he doesn't have that passion for his family.
And that actually, for me, was something that I don't want to say, I don't mean this to sound negative, but it took me a minute to settle into as a viewer.
It's hard. It's really hard to be on his side.
When you're going on this cinematic journey, you know, you're sort of doing the same thing. You're looking for answers, right? You're watching a story. You want to know where it goes.
Yeah.
And because he doesn't know the questions that are being asked, I don't know the questions that are being asked. And that can be frustrating. It can be disorienting as a viewer. And again, because it's like a sci-fi movie that are usually relatively easy, this movie asks you to do something very different.
Spielberg has explicitly said he does not see this as a sci-fi movie.
He's probably right.
Yeah, and he's like, basically, if you don't believe in aliens, maybe this feels like a sci-fi movie. But if you do, he's like, this just is a movie about a family, which this is why I started with this scene too, is like this movie's relationship with domestic space, domestic spheres is just so fascinating. So, you know, we talk about the Neary's house and sort of how it's like messy and very real and like a lot of crosstalk, but there's like a lot of stress with that. And you feel the stress of like a divorce coming or some type of like big head in that family. But then you have the domestic sphere of Jillian's house, you know, Barry's mother.
Yeah.
And this is a space that turns into horror house when the aliens arrive as like almost a contrast. This one isn't full of people.
Well, it's not even it's a contrast, but it also is, it's potentially where Ronnie's headed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's a preview of what happens because Jillian's a single mother. And she has Barry, who is more than vulnerable. She's also trying to protect him.
Because he's just as fascinated by this question.
Yeah,
of
and she
what is
doesn't have this husband that's creating an additional layer of chaos or question mark. She's on her own. And so having those two things exist side by side, it's like, well, when Ronnie leaves or if she leaves and she's doing this on her own, that might be what it looks like.
But
and that's terrifying.
And with 3 insane kids. And that house is so
and because
scary.
that's where the horror exists.
Yeah.
And so it really is a movie about family.
It so much is. It so much is. But like the way he deconstructs her home space in it is just, it's horrifying.
Both literally and figuratively.
Yeah. Like that stove becomes a monster. That screw unscrewing by itself is an image that is just like trapped in your mind. And all it is just a screw coming out of a vent. And he has a way of making these things that are very, very familiar in spaces that we all understand, that we all grew up in, that we all feel, that suddenly feel like foreign and strange and scary. The other really interesting thing about like Jillian and Barry's relationship with this is like, you have Jillian who is, you know, she has this experience. She wants to go out. She goes out to see the aliens just like everybody else does. And there's an excitement, there's an anticipation about like, what might I see? What might happen tonight? And it doesn't happen. And there's a disappointment. And then there's the helicopter that like plays with your expectations, which I think is another really beautifully directed scene.
It's a good scene.
But then when the aliens come to her home, to her domestic space, it goes from being excitement to being fear, to being terror about what might happen now that they're actually in this space versus that space.
There's a big difference between being in pursuit and being pursued.
I know. But even if it's by the same entity, and that's what I think is like so, again, just so wonderfully balanced in this movie.
And of course, Spielberg does the Jaws thing, where what is so terrifying about these aliens is that
what you can't see.
They're light. Right? All you have are these lights that are surrounding her house, which are not inherently terrifying, but in that context, it's absolutely horrific.
The movie's not a horror movie, but there's a sense of dread to it that like, it's like dread. This movie captures a combination of dread, wonder, excitement, love, fear in this just like very
Well, I think
amorphous package.
It's
that,
exactly what would happen if you know that there are important questions that demand answers, but you don't know what either of those two things are.
and that is fucking excellently put. Like that is the emotional package that this movie is delivering. Is like there's a big question out there. I don't know what it is, and I'm going through this just like absolute like cacophony, this kaleidoscope of emotions because I am excited about it, but I am absolutely terrified by it. I want to pursue it, but I'm afraid of it pursuing me. I need to come to it on my own terms. And you see the different ways that Jillian and Roy interact with it. It is just the other week we did Scream and Shaun of the Dead, and I will. You were just too emotionally attached to Scream. Like you openly wept on the episode. Like it was really disgusting, honestly.
It was just gross.
It was embarrassing. Yeah. And
but I did admit that I came into that.
I didn't
that
shame
episode
you
with
then.
a lot of baggage.
You had so much baggage. Yeah.
And I think where you're headed is that this is your Scream.
This is more than my Scream. I really thought I was going to be able to separate myself from this movie on this watching because it's been a while. Again, I was like, oh, I remember liking it, but it's the mashed potato scene. It's the part where he puts all the dirt in the house and builds, Devil's Tower, and then it's the final scene on that stage where they get to see the lights. And I watched it this time, and I was like, this was my favorite movie when I was like 13, 14 years old. It was just my absolute, I would watch it and rewatch it. Anytime my dad was like, hey,
You were
you
a
want to
weird
watch?
kid.
I'm aware. It was my favorite Spielberg by far. It was just, always was. Never liked E.T. that much. Didn't see Jaws. Loved Indiana Jones. Loved Jurassic Park. But like, this was my Spielberg movie. There was something about wanting to run away and join the circus, wanting to run away and like seek that passion. Like I always wanted to make something. I didn't know what I wanted to make, but I knew I wanted to make something. And I just connected with Roy as like a teenager in a way that like was indescribable. And I really thought as like someone with like a son and a house and like a wife, like I would not have that experience this time. And I didn't. I wasn't like, oh, I see Roy anymore.
Yeah.
But I got a whole other dimension of this movie. And yes, I am setting all of my baggage down here on the floor and saying this movie emotionally connects for me in a way that is just impossible to describe in the like 20 minutes I give myself on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting that you describe it that way because this being my first view and watching it in my late 30s with a family, Roy is a really, really tough character.
He is.
Like for him to be your protagonist, like there are so many angles at which I just want to judge this guy. And I absolutely can identify better with the anxieties and fears that Ronnie has.
Yeah. Ronnie becomes sort of your central hero in a lot of ways. And then Jillian, when he does step away from the family, you feel what Jillian is like this great, like sort of between character where like, she wants answers, but she wants her family back.
Yeah. And so that would, I think, be something that would pull me away from the movie. You know, I would expect having this protagonist that I really kind of am like, you're being irresponsible, dude. Like, listen to your wife, protect your kids.
You listen to Terry Garr.
Yeah. Well, who wouldn't?
I mean, as long as she wants to roll in the hay.
But the truth is, he is right about this one thing, which is they're fucking aliens and nobody's telling us why or what they're doing here.
Yeah.
And like our existence probably depends on finding these answers to those questions that I don't really understand.
But that's the thing is this is what's so wonderful about the movie is that it's so unknown. Maybe our existence connects to it, and maybe it actually has no impact over our small lives in Indiana. Yeah. Like,
but that would be the assumption you would make.
What's so wonderful about this movie is that there is this like magical, mystical sort of question out there, but you don't like. I mean, I said before, like you don't know what the question is, but it might be really important, and that's the important part. It's not what the answer to the question is. It's not whether he pursues it, but the possibility of it being something so important that it like gives not just meaning, but like answers to existence and like how we're here and why we're here and, you know, why Roy's here, because clearly like being a lineman was not his dream. So what is his dream? And I think that this is like probably where I kind of want to land this is like this for me is Spielberg's most autobiographical movie by far. This feels to me like a little boy running away from his family to go make something wonderful and meaningful that felt so out of reach to a middle class kid who grew up in kind of a stressed household that was falling apart at the seams, because that is where Spielberg came from, and he ran to LA and built himself up as a filmmaker. And that final scene where, they arrive at the top of Devil's Tower, and you have this moment where it's a soundstage. There's lights, there's cameras, there are microphones, and everybody's there. And the whole thing is set up like a stage, like a show is about to go on, and you get to see the show, and you see the way people interact with the stage. So we have the interaction with the domestic sphere and how that functions. And then you have the interaction with the stage. Who wants to go on the stage? Who wants to perform? Who wants to build? Who wants to be part of this world? And who wants to kind of hang back and watch and be a part of it in that way? And you see that separation happen in that scene as well. And it's just so good. It's so good.
Yeah, and I think the choice that Spielberg makes, and it's a really ballsy choice, is Roy gets on the ship. He leaves, but we are not ever given the answer about whether or not where he goes matters, right? And so, my default as a person is to actually think that your small bubble is what matters. And like the key to having a happy, meaningful life is what you do within that bubble. And like the big things that happen around you, whether it's what you see on the news or, what politics, all of that, like you can actually kind of create your own world and find your meaning there. And all of that other stuff is noise until it's not. Until it really starts to permeate that bubble. And I think he feels like whatever's going on with these aliens is going to permeate that bubble. But we're left, even at the end of the movie, not actually knowing what's the case.
Well, I think there's a couple things in there that you said that are really important, because they do permeate his bubble, because it literally invades his mind.
Yeah.
Like it builds an obsession into his brain. It builds a map into his brain of like how to get where he needs to go. But he also, he is trying to build a world that works for him. And that's, I think, his model train is like such a great analog for what you're describing, is how do I build a world that works for me? But the satisfaction that he has in building that is still a disconnection from his family. Like, it's not like he's someone who's sitting there who's deeply connected with his family. He's trying to get his kids to go to
teaching his kids what he's doing and the intricacies of building or any of those things.
Not only is he not teaching them, when he asks them for help with fractions, what he teaches him is a terrible lesson. He can't even teach him about fractions. He's like, well, if this is 60 feet long, how far does it need to move? You need to say something sooner. All these people are going to die.
Right.
And like, he's not behaving like a paternal figure. He's really, he occupies this house more as like an older brother to these children. Like, he kind of acts that way. Like, there's a scene where they come up and slap him on the ass, and he's got all the toothpaste, and it's fun, and you like that, and you have those moments where you sort of like remember maybe a paternal figure or an older figure in your life where like they were fun, but he's not actually showing up as a dad. He's not actually helping. He's not actually guiding. He's just there playing. That's all he's doing. And this is why Roy leaving, for me, as much as it is like you judge him, you're like, you left your family. But Roy already left his family. Like, Roy was not with his family when we come into this movie. He's trying to bring them to Pinocchio, and nobody wants to go to Pinocchio. He's not part of this family. He hasn't brought them along on whatever journey he has. And again, like, this is where this movie, I just really feel this movie. This is somebody who wasn't settled into their life already. And so the fact that this came along and imprinted on his mind, imprinted on his brain, built this passion, built this obsession into him, in some ways, it's a blessing in disguise, because he needed to step away from this family. I do think it was best for all parties, as much as it's painful, and I hate to see anybody leave Terry Gar. I don't know what you're thinking. But when you look at the way it is, I don't think Roy was going to come back from the brink of whoever he was and become suddenly a better dad.
Yeah, and I want him to so bad. Right? I want him to fix what's broken instead of abandon it.
Of course you do. But he is not. He's not dedicated to that family when we meet him.
Yeah. And I think that's, again, it's a ballsy thing for Spielberg to do, is he leans into the truth of the situation and not the fantasy of what we want that situation to be.
And it makes the whole thing feel like your home, feel like your house, feel very recognizable, from the toys on the floor to the food in the refrigerator. Like, it all just is very, very lived in.
Mhm.
Kills it. The only other thing, we haven't even discussed Truffaut's and Balaban's characters.
They're fun.
Yeah, look, well, they're not just fun. I love them as, so much of this movie is about the domestic sphere, but it's also about communication, about language. And, you have someone who only speaks French. You have someone who's a map reader, but also speaks French and English. So he can translate, but he can also translate maps. And the importance of having multiple forms of communication. And this, again, comes back to that very autobiographical, like, this is a movie about filmmaking. It's like filmmaking is light and it's sound and it's body language and it's visual effects. And this is how you communicate the whole emotional narrative to your audience. And you see them building this language so that they can communicate with aliens. And I just, like, this is like that really, really hopeful shit. As much as we're like, oh, Roy nearly leaving his family is a tough thing to deal with, this movie is also intensely hopeful. The visitors want to commune with us, and we as a group can build a language to commune with them as well. And that language is audiovisual.
Yeah.
Like, it's the cinema.
There's definitely the whole metaphor for filmmaking. But I think the reason that matters is because Spielberg sees movie making as a vehicle for connection.
I think he absolutely does. And we talked really early on how he delivers this emotional package that is exactly the emotional package that you would feel if you encountered something unknown. So I think all of these elements, and again, this is the kind of movie that, like, plenty of people have done 3-hour podcasts on it. That's not what we're here to do. But I go through this and I say, this stuff all still works in a way that is quite incredible. I mean, visually, it's absolutely stunning. All of the work, you're looking at this movie made in 1977. The visual effects on it are absolutely incredible. I saw Spielberg giving a talk to an AFI class. There's a good video on AFI's website, and just talking about how, like, you see this movie and you feel like, oh my gosh, it looks great. And he's like, well, the reality is that took 100 takes, because we would do the movement of the ship, and 90% of the crew would be happy with it. And the other 10% of us would be like, no, it jiggled a little bit there and that's taking us out. So we need to do it again. And it was about getting that absolutely perfect feeling of immersing. And you can just feel the difference in a movie that was made that long ago. And all of these effects are practical. Nothing is done in computer. So everything's being done with models. A lot of the effects are being done with, like, ink and water to give that sort of cloud effect that they're doing. And then obviously all the lighting effects that they're doing. And it just holds. Like, you watch it and you still feel like this stuff is real. And it speaks to just
especially in that final scene.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And yet it defies logic. The fact that they take the mothership from behind Devil's Tower and it's bigger than Devil's Tower and go up instead of down. This is one of those classic Spielberg things where he does the thing that you just don't expect. The thing that surprises you, that awes you. And even though it doesn't make any logical sense, it doesn't matter, because you expect an alien spaceship to do this and come down towards them. And instead it lifts up from where they already are. It was hiding among them despite its grandeur. And, like, it's just so good. It makes me smile. It makes me feel all the feels. I could go back and revisit that scene a million times. I mentioned the music. It is just one of my favorite John Williams scores. And then, like, the light in this is just such a fascinating extra character of, like, so many lens flares and so much light. And we'll get to it later, but J.J. Abrams clearly loves this movie.
Definitely.
It's kind of got a little bit of a J.J. Abrams boner for it. So, I think that kind of wraps up my talk on emotional connection. Is there anything else that you want to cover in Close Encounters? I think I love that one too much.
I
love this movie so much.
I can tell, so and I love, like, going through movies with people who really, really love them
so much.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really, really thrilled that I got to kind of check this one off the list. That it's one that I haven't seen before, and I think it's really special. It does connect, and it's so different from what I expected, and really from anything else I've seen sort of in that wheelhouse.
It both really, really surprises you when you watch it and feels very Spielberg at the same time.
Feels very Spielberg. There's a familiarity because you can see that it's had influence. But it does it takes these turns that just are so unique.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to go into Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
It's going to make us feel very different.
A little less hopeful.
He isn't my husband. It's someone who looks like him. He's an imposter.
He's your husband. You know him and I know him.
I had to wait until today because he has a scar on the back of his neck, and when his hair is long, you can't see it.
Yes.
He went to have a haircut today.
Yes.
And the scar was gone.
No, it's still there.
Of course it's still there. What did you expect? He's still Ted. He's still
Excuse
your
me, can I
husband.
just say one
Please.
thing?
He's still your husband,
But
Ted.
I know
Please.
something that you...
Catherine.
Could I just say
Please.
one thing?
Catherine. All right, just a minute. Just a minute. Catherine. Just give me a minute, will you? Just a minute. Will you trust me? Will you please? Trust me, will you? Trust
I'm
me.
afraid.
I understand.
I'm afraid.
I know, and I understand. Let me have your hand. Catherine, listen. Just trust me. Come on. Here. That's not so bad, is it? Who's this behind you?
Kid.
That's right. Hold on. Come on, just hold on. Hold on. Just relax now. You gonna be all right?
Yeah.
You feel better?
Yeah.
You wanna go home now?
Yes.
Yeah? All right. Will you come and see me tomorrow?
Please,
Yes,
tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow we'll all talk. Okay, the three of us?
Okay, but
All right?
I think I better take her home.
Yes, it's gonna be...
Excuse me. Excuse me. I understand what you're trying to say.
Matthew, you closed
My name is
favorite
Elizabeth
restaurant on
Driscoll, the
Reeves.
public health
Come on, it's a
department.
decent
Call
place
me.
to eat.
Catherine. Come on, Catherine.
That woman's husband's not her husband. I saw him today with Jeffrey. He's one of them. And she knows about it, and nobody's helping her.
This scene happens maybe 20, 30 minutes into the movie. At this point, Elizabeth has had her boyfriend get body snatched, get taken. She's experiencing what Catherine in this scene has experienced, where there's someone who is familiar to her, but something is off. And what I love about this scene in particular is it basically sets you up for everything you're about to experience in this movie, which is the dread of the things that are the most familiar to you, the most important to you, becoming unfamiliar, shifting from being a place of comfort to a threat.
Mm-hmm.
And then while all of that is happening, you're being basically gaslit into thinking that it's not happening, that you're the crazy one, that everything is fine. Your appeals to authority, your cries for help go unanswered.
Oh, I can't wait to get to the
and
appeals
worse
to
than
authority.
unanswered, they are undermined.
Mm-hmm.
And
everything is to pacify you. That's
right.
Yeah. Like that's the goal of everyone around you.
And I think, you have Dr. Kibner talking to Catherine, being like, calm down. Do you trust me? Everything's okay. I'm going to make you feel better. But feeling better does not change the reality that is around you.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason you feel better is because that appeal to authority is met with a shielding from the truth. It doesn't make the threat go away. It just conceals the threat so that you become more vulnerable.
Oh, I don't even know where to jump off from there because there's so much good stuff in there. But, the thing that comes to mind is right after this scene when they're out on the street and Kibner's trying to talk Elizabeth sort of down from, she's like, that woman, like, why did you dismiss her? And she's kind of pushing on Dr. Kibner, Leonard Nimoy's character, which he's such a good dirtbag in this.
He sucks.
Oh my God. He's the best dirtbag in this. But at one point, Matthew Sutherland's character is like, hey, you're not listening to her. Because he's not. He's pushing back on everything. And then he stops him and he goes, no, you don't understand. I am listening to her. You don't know what now this is the true gaslight. Like, you don't even know what listening is.
Yeah.
This is what listening looks like. What you're doing is fueling a fire. What I'm doing is listening. And then he lashes out at Jack as he walks by to get a reaction out of her, to like show to her that she's overreacting to anything. Because like, I didn't represent a true threat to Jack. Your boyfriend's not representing a true threat to you. Dr. Kibner is such a perfect foil to everything the protagonists are trying to do in this, because he is the authority that they all seem to rely on. And they all very much believe in authority, except Jack, which I do like. I think Jack we have to get into, because he has that sort of like last bit of like counterculture sort of rebellion inside of him. And he's the character that I feel like is probably Philip Kaufman's favorite character in the movie. Like that's sort of my sense of it. But he's the authority, but then he's also doing everything he can to pacify without ever helping them with any of the problems they're having. The other thing that you were saying, and it's crazy because like we watch both these movies, we take notes, we do our research, like we show up so we can bring the best show to our audience. And yet there's still moments where I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, like light bulb. This has so much more in common with Close Encounters than I realized until just now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, until just now. I'm like, her boyfriend is so disconnected from life, from reality, before he ever gets body snatched. He's sitting there with his headphones on. He's watching the basketball game. She walks in. He doesn't hear a single word that she says. And then he just like kisses her and then goes back to watching the game. Like this is somebody who's completely divested from his own domestic sphere, and him being taken by a body snatcher. To me, I'm like, what's the fucking difference? Like this guy's already so 1 foot out the door of this world.
That's, I think, the warning of the movie, right?
I know, it's so good.
You have these
Fuck,
characters
it's so good.
who are, it's in San Francisco. It's a bustling city. There's lots going on. They have relationships. These are not loners, right? They have careers that matter. They have people in their personal
there's
lives.
social circles that are built out.
All of the things that make you think that you're connected, that what you're doing matters, that you're living a full life. But then the flip side of it is, how far are you really from already being a pod person, to the point that when it all starts to happen, nobody notices?
It's sort of that Shaun of the Dead thing.
It's Shaun of the
I know,
Dead,
it's
right?
super connected to Shaun of the Dead. Let me ask you this though. What do you make of the fact that Kaufman decided to make your kind of two main protagonists into health inspectors?
It's funny. It actually it's a really like clever joke.
So it's so perfect. I would never have thought to have made a main character.
Their job is to make sure that the world that you move through is safe, that it's
safe
healthy,
from foodborne pathogens, things that get in,
and then
that you ingest.
She brings a plant into her house because she thinks the flower is pretty, and her boyfriend gets body snatched.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's about that vulnerability that we're all kind of moving through, thinking we're doing one thing, but are we so insular that it wouldn't be that hard to penetrate?
I think there's also this really interesting tension that gets set up in the movie with them being health inspectors. And there's this sort of like art and safety where you see the French restaurant and you're like, that place looks awesome. Look at all these artists and artisans working at making beautiful, wonderful food for the world. Like they're doing something that actually does feel meaningful. Whereas you see a health inspector and you're like, yeah, we need him, but like fuck the health inspector.
Yeah.
Like you don't like. I appreciate that he's doing what he's doing, but he is so like, I feel like Matthew is so lost in his own role as a health inspector that he's lost sight of like the beauty of the world and like the fact that he's in this French restaurant. He's celebrating the fact that he found this rat turd. Like he's so fucking excited.
Yeah, he has this like rigidity to his role.
Yeah.
That he's become the role as opposed to being a person.
Exactly. And to the point where like he is expressing joy. He is celebrating by the fact that he caught him, that he found the rat turd in the soup. And it creates this turn where you're like, shit, I kind of want them to have the rat turd in the soup if they don't have to deal with this guy. Like, I'm like, man, this restaurant probably makes really good food and they had one instance of something happening because the world is a contaminated world and that's kind of okay.
Yeah, I mean that.
But then I'm like, I want health inspectors. I don't know.
That's sort of the point, right? Because the body snatchers, right? They're replacing people largely because humanity is so messy and
they're cleaning
dangerous, and they're cleaning it up. They're creating people
emotionless
who are emotionless, and they just exist to survive in the most safe, efficient way possible. And then I also, I'm so glad you brought up the health inspector thing, because it sort of dovetails right into the other thing I want to talk about, which is those appeals to authority. It's not a mistake that our characters are sort of these like bureaucratic, like government officials who are there to enforce the authority of the government, ostensibly to protect you. And then when their shit gets rocked and they go to reach out to the government authorities who are supposed to know better, who are supposed to protect them, they are met with gaslighting, resistance, dishonesty. And this movie, much like Close Encounters, late 70s, post-Watergate, post-Vietnam, trust in our institutions is at the time, like an all-time low.
I think this is the closest in time we've done two movies.
I think so.
Pod. Like we normally have a pretty good split, but these are 1 year apart.
And it's really interesting to sort of see how the world around us impacts the art that we're consuming at any given moment.
And these are two wildly different
movies. Yeah.
But they are sort of coming up against this same sort of lack of trust and authority in government, which is so fascinating how they each deal with it.
And as we're discussing kind of the emotional connection, does this movie continue to breathe? Does it continue to say something that I feel is relevant and connects to me? It's sort of remarkable that I'm watching this for the first time now in 2026, where it feels like we're there again.
I was going to ask you, was this your first watch?
It was my first watch.
This was my first watch of Invasion of the Body Snatchers 2. It's one of those movies where it's like, I think I knew the title. I probably was like on a watch list of mine at some point, but I didn't even know which version to watch because there are several.
Yeah. And so, in 2026, we're, 5-6 years removed from COVID, where we had a pathogen like invade us. The government response was an inversion of this, but created a lot of that same distrust, this feeling that we were not being told the whole story, that we were being lied to, that there was a degree of control being imposed on us that was also more important than the answers.
There was also giving up a lot of your humanity for safety.
Right.
Yeah.
Now there's, we could sort of tick things off that are happening right now. There's the Epstein list and people thinking there's something happening that the government is not telling us. There's, wars, the pretense for why we go to these wars, that there's some story happening in the background that's not what we're being told it is. And we're being made to think that we're the conspiratorial crazy people for thinking that something is going on until, you find out that there were no weapons of mass destruction.
Well, and that's the thing is because everything's so highly mediated in the 70s, and it is even more so now, that it's not even a conspiracy to know that spin is part of people's job to make sure that they sell whatever's happening in the world to the American public, because when you live in a democracy, that's the only way to wield power is to have the power of the people on your side. And so you have to spin the right story.
Is such a delicate balancing act between order and freedom. And then, of course, like, there are actual UFO files in our news right now.
Oh, I know. I mean, Spielberg is going around talking about how he thinks they're real and they're here.
Yeah. And so it's sort of a miracle that this movie that is so of its time and place feels so about right now. And then, we talked about Dr. Kibner, Leonard Nimoy's character.
He's so good in this.
He's so good.
I love Leonard Nimoy in this.
Another one that I just don't know how in 1978 they predicted that in 2026 we'd have all of these like pop psychologists and that the populace would be so overly therapized that everyone is using
the
therapy language and self-diagnosing, and it seems like everyone is ADHD and autistic and their bad boyfriend is a sociopathic narcissist. Like,
if I see one more person's profile on Threads that says AUDHD, why would you put your diagnosis on your social media? Like, that is so strange to me. I saw a job listing recently that said ADHD preferred. And I was like, I don't even think that's legal.
What does that even mean?
Like, that you want somebody who's ADHD. I don't think you can put that on there. But, like, it's become this, like...
And it's this cope, right? Is that we have become so disconnected that we're trying to pathologize what is probably normal human challenges.
That's not just on a spectrum of, you're like, you might be a little more on this side, you might be a little more on this side, and it's part of the human experience.
Yeah, and so you have Nimoy, who's this like pop psychologist who, again, uses all of his authority and knowledge and expertise not to help anybody, but to pacify them.
I was going to say to shave the edges off of like whatever their human experience is. He's trying to make it into like, he actually is, he is the guy who's saying you should just settle. Like he's saying that you're unhappy in this relationship, but you need to learn that you can't just run away from it. You should stay here and settle. Like he's the guy telling Roy Neary, you should probably stay with Ronnie and just settle and figure this out. And it's like, I don't like, we both just sat here and said like, we judge Roy for leaving. Well, and that, but then we're like, do we want
that's exactly
Dr.
what I was about to say,
telling Roy to stay?
These two movies side by side are perfect because They don't give you an answer. Neither one of them really gives you an answer.
Well, I was going to say invasion. The answer is we're all fucked.
Not the part that we're talking about, at least.
The answer is it's
but
all
you
fucked.
do like you said. Like I see Roy, and I'm like, you should be fighting to protect your family. You should be, I don't know what the aliens are, but if you're going to be hurting these people who should matter the most to you in that pursuit, maybe don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But then
You see
Invasion of
Kibner.
the Body Snatchers and Kibner gives you the opposite extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe you don't get on the spaceship and leave Earth entirely, but also don't completely sacrifice who you are as a person to conform to this package that you're supposed to conform to. And that's a very uncomfortable place to be as we discuss these two movies together.
Tell me about it. It's I did not realize how much in conversation they were going to be when we jumped into this, but I honestly, we're getting into these themes, and everything was so relevant. I feel this movie on a gut level that is both terrifying and marvelous.
Yeah.
And then, the performances in it again are just, I mentioned Nimoy. I love Nimoy in this.
Nimoy is such a good, he's the villain, but he's actually just this foil. He's just a dick. Well, but he's also a pod person. We should mention that he's one of the pod people.
Yeah, he is a he is an arm. He is and he's an appendage. That's the word I'm looking for of the invasion. And so it's he's a villain, but he's only a villain because that. But there is something interesting in there though that I think is worth pausing on because Jack Belichick, we mentioned, I believe Goldblum's character is Philip Kaufman, sort of this is what's left of the counterculture. This is what's left of the resistance. He still lives, but he's weak, right? And he's, he's easily pushed around. He's overreactive, but he doesn't like Nimoy's character Kibner before the invasion,
right?
Which I think there's something there. There's something that was he villainous for? Because we only see him as far as we know as a pod person.
Again, that's that piece of yes, the invasion and the body snatching and the pod people are all awful and an existential threat.
Yeah.
But the way that we're moving through the world already, the status quo was kind of headed in that direction anyway.
Well, I was going to say the statement is sort of, there is no society more primed for a body snatching than this one here.
It's
this
a warning. The
fertile
warning
territory.
is not that there's going to be, I guess, aliens, whatever, some sort of pathogen.
I'm going to say space jellyfish.
Space jellyfish.
That's what I'm going to go with based on that opening sequence.
That's not the warning. The warning isn't about the invasion.
I am nervous about
warning,
space jellyfish.
Are you?
I am. We should pause there. I took the wrong lesson.
Because, I don't think that what Kaufman is saying is watch out for this external threat. I think what he's saying is watch out for your vulnerability to any threat.
Well, the threat comes from within. That's the whole idea, is that the people around you suddenly transform and no one can tell the difference. Yeah.
And then I think, if we're talking about the things that connect, what works in this movie, the last thing we should talk about is the last thing of the movie. Which is that ending.
Dude, that ending is one of the best endings I've ever seen in a movie. It shocked the absolute hell out of me.
It is very surprising.
Do we spoil on this spot? I think we probably shouldn't if we're building watch lists.
We probably shouldn't if we're building watch lists. But let's just say this is not the ending that
you
anticipated.
Yeah, it's very surprising.
And it absolutely packs a remarkable punch.
One of the best film endings I think I've ever seen. It is one of the most unexpected.
And it's a perfect punctuation on everything that came before it.
Yeah. I agree. It's a phenomenal ending. It stumbles a little bit on its way to the ending, I do think, but I think the ending, that's how you remember your movies, right? I love Close Encounters because I remember the end of it. I will love this forever because the end of it is so good.
Yeah. I think now is the time where we have to make what might be one of the toughest calls we've made on this show, is deciding which of these two movies that I think we both agree are incredibly emotionally impactful, that definitely connected with both of us, and deciding which one connected more. You've shown your hand, I think, more than I have.
Well, I did just go on about how much I think this movie is freaking amazing, though. So maybe, I don't even know which one I'm going to pick.
I know.
I'm thinking real hard.
This is tough. Well, grab our boards.
All right. I really don't know.
I know, this is so
I
hard.
really don't know.
On 3?
1, 2, 3. Oh, wow.
I went Body Snatchers.
I went Body Snatchers. So, just real quick, why'd you go Body Snatchers
I
over?
went Body Snatchers because I am far more terrified of the things in my life that matter most to me becoming something that I can't recognize anymore and not finding my place in them than I am feeling a draw to run away from those things.
You know, it's funny. I think I went Body Snatchers because I think I am more reactive to the sort of fear and dread that's built into it. And that it does feel like a little bit more of like a call to action to remain vigilant. But I am so inspired by Close Encounters about like following a dream and like how do you like pursue it almost obsessively in order to make something great.
And you know what's funny is that you're inspired by makes me incredibly nervous.
I know it does. I am aware that is not you, but I like that is very much like if I could do it all over again, like I would have run away to Hollywood and like become a PA and try to become a filmmaker. Like that is a thing I would have done if I had the courage or the knowledge, or I don't know what got in my way, right?
Yeah. You've talked about how movies like hit your existential dread.
Yes.
Like
yes.
This one
hits yours?
Touches my nerve exactly.
These movies are fucking awesome.
They're so good.
Let's get into cinematic importance. All right. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So in 1997 on the list, it was number 64. But in the 2007 version, it went from number 64 to entirely removed.
That is so bizarre.
Very strange. And I am curious as to the thinking behind that. Network is now number 64. Love Network, by the way, Sidney Lumet. So I'm not mad about what's there, but I'm very curious about how this one got removed. It is on the New York Times 1,000 Essential Films. It is not in the IMDb top 250. It is number 1,222 on IMDb, which I was like, that's really far out there. And again, this is why I think, even though it's a revered movie, I think a lot of modern film goers just don't watch it, don't dig it.
I also think we talked about this. It has more than a little potential to be polarizing.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of what makes it great.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's the same
It's
reason
not like there
why
aren't
when
polarizing
something's
films
a
in the top
99% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's going to be mediocre.
Oh, yeah. That's
I
that's fair.
need something that has a tug of war.
I agree. I love a good tug of war. Not on the Letterboxd top 500 either.
Yeah.
It's a 3.8 star rating, which I don't know who out there is not giving this movie 5 stars. Like I want to talk to you. I'm curious.
Dicks.
It's not even just dicks. I'm like, what is it that's holding you back? Like, if you don't like Roy Neary, I don't think that makes the movie not a 5 star. I mean, we love Marty Supreme, and he's
worst.
terrible. Yeah, he's the worst person ever.
Yeah, I think if I had to guess, I think this is a very weighted rating where I don't think you have anyone who's rating it three stars,
No,
right? I think you
it's-
have some 1 stars bringing it down because where I encountered a very pleasant surprise, I think there are people who encountered a bait and switch.
Well, what I actually saw in there, because I did look to see, it's very few 5 stars. It's a lot of 4s. People don't want to give it the 5. And I am like, there are a few movies I give the 5 to. This is a movie I give the 5 to.
Yeah.
It just,
I tend to be stingy with the 5s.
I'm very stingy with it. This is absolutely a 5 for me.
I'm weirdly generous with the 4s.
4s are easy to give out because you're like, oh, it's a great movie. I think, we 5'd 1 last year, 1 Battle, and then 4.5 to Sinners, even though we both agree that Sinners is more fun.
Right.
The review I selected, I really like this review. I just think it was generally just a good description of the movie, but a beautiful fantasy that intelligent life is out there and will come in peace. And also that if your father left, it would be for very important reasons. A.A. Dowd.
It's a fantasy indeed.
I mean, I like this review because that is kind of like, we talked about Terry Garr's character and like empathizing with her, but I think that there's something about like the children and like watching that. There's that really superb scene where the oldest son hears them yelling in the bathroom and like, that he feels that his family is coming apart, and he's old enough to recognize that this is going towards divorce. Like that's what's about to happen. And he comes in and he starts slamming the door open and he yells at his dad to stop crying because he's a baby. He's a baby. He's a baby. And this is like, he is identifying my dad is not an adult. I might have to move my emotional connect. But this is something that just like hits the heart of the movie. And when we look at like filmmakers that are influenced by this movie, this leads me right into Denis Villeneuve. He saw this movie when he was a kid, and just this hit him in a way that I think we're both feeling right here.
When I saw it, I was maybe 12 years old. At 12 years old, what is the most frightening thing beside receiving a bomb from the Russians? It's in the 70s. The most frightening things is divorce, the specter of divorce.
Hey! Thomasina, you go! Please!
You
please
cry,
baby! You cry, baby! You cry, baby! You cry! Get out of here! Get out!
You're terrorized by this idea at this age. And there was tension in my family. And I remember that when I saw Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I was seeing all those adults running around, not taking care of their family anymore, was terrifying for me. This idea that the father will leave his family at the end. And later on, I discovered this idea that a compulsion, that could be an addiction or a passion, could cut you away from the one you love, that it could be more powerful than love. A dream could be more powerful than love. That, for me, it was a terrifying idea that Spielberg brought in my heart.
I couldn't say this better. The fact that English
I agree
is not
with him.
his...
I don't find it inspiring. I find it terrifying.
But it's both.
Yeah.
That's what's so
Well, that's
cool.
what's,
That's what's so cool about it.
Is that pull is real no matter what the risk of it is.
Yeah, like that pull exists inside of you, and it is very scary. But I mean, I grew up in a divorced household, but I remember that type of fighting happening in my house, like yelling and screaming and stress. And I remember wishing for divorce. Like I wanted out of that world because it was so stressful to just be in a world where there was yelling like that. And so maybe again, this is why this movie connected for me. It was like Roy leaving. I'm like, thank God, like the tension gets like you set up the tension and then you resolve the tension. The tension's resolved by Roy leaving. And maybe that's not the resolution you want. But in a story, like that is a great resolution to that type of tension, which...
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, this movie, God, the emotional...
I know, you want to move it, right?
I don't want to move, but it's the hardest one because, like, for me, like, I am someone who, like, I hate the unknown. Like, I'm such a planner. But then it's those moments in life where you realize that sometimes finding finality means the thing you really don't want to happen, but at least it's final. And it's so fucking crazy. And this movie nails it so well.
I'm moving. I'm
you asshole.
Well, no, I'm just gonna, I have to be to thine own self, be true. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna move it. It's fine. I might move it back when we get to yours. And then I think, I mentioned earlier, unsurprisingly, J.J. Abrams worships this film.
I mean, Super 8 is a love letter to this movie.
Well, I was going to say, so some of the films that are directly influenced by it, Project Hail Mary, there's a direct reference. You heard the tones, finally, so you know in there. Arrival is another movie that is directly influenced by it, in fact.
I never saw Close Encounters as having a sequel. But the closest movie that makes me feel a warm kinship with is Arrival. Arrival, to me, is the best movie I've seen post Close Encounters, and the movie that got me the most excited and reignited my interest in the eventual meeting of great civilizations is when I saw Arrival for the first time.
That is a high compliment. It's the best movie I've seen since Close Encounters. So yeah, that is a direct, influence there. Signs, Super 8, Contact, and honestly, The Abyss is a really, really great example of a movie that is like in direct conversation with Close Encounters about an otherworldly presence, benevolence, communication, being pulled by that dream. It's kind of a wonderful undersea. I kind of want to do it on our pod at some point. I don't know when or how, but
yeah, The Abyss is a great movie that I don't know. I feel like people sleep on it.
I think people super sleep on it. I'd never seen it until recently. And then I think Nope is sort of like Jaws and Close Encounters had a baby. It's Jaws in the Sky.
It's definitely playing with it.
Yeah, it's Jaws in the Sky, which
Jordan
I love.
Peele watches movies.
Just a few. So, the tentacles are long. There was an interview with Whoopi Goldberg talking about just like actually being inspired by the passion of Roy Neary, where this spoke to her as a comedian, that like obsession to like just work so hard at it and keep doing it. And like that, this really inspired her. And I love Whoopi. Like, you know, in our prior version of our podcast, we did Ghost, and we were like, the only thing we liked about Ghost really
Was Whoopi.
Was Whoopi. I mean, that's not fair. We actually like Demi Moore in it too, but as far as like performances go, like she's the reason to watch that, and Whoopi's superb. And she said that, you know, Close Encounters was a huge inspiration for her. I could probably go on forever. I've got a J.J. Abrams clip. He saw it when he was a kid. It blew his mind. He loved it. I don't know how much we need to go into that. So, this movie is very much alive and well in the cinemascape. Very, very strong cinematic importance.
I agree.
What you got for Invasion?
All right, so Invasion is not on any of those lists. It's not on the AFI list. It's not in the New York Times Essential.
So the New York Times Essential, I'm losing faith in that list.
I am too.
You've got 1,000 slots, and you don't have Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You don't have Shaun of the Dead. You don't have Scream. Like, what the fuck, New York Times? I'm going to throw that book out.
You should.
You think so?
I think you should. You want to do it right now?
No, I don't.
Not on the IMDb top 250. Not on the Letterboxd top 500. I think it's like 2,500 or something like that on one of those lists. It's like way there. And weirdly, the Letterboxd star rating is a 3.9, so it's actually higher than Close Encounters.
I saw that.
And then the review that I chose, and I feel like we've got ahead of this a little bit, is Kaufman is so effective at communicating the feeling that much of humanity has already converted ourselves into pods of one form or another, even before the invasion. This film's perfect rendering of the feeling of being in a city surrounded by people where everything looks exactly the same, but feels just a little bit off, has only gotten more vivid. And that's from a gentleman named Will Menaker. I agree.
I
think if you're going to put this conversation into kind of two sentences,
those are the two.
That's the two. And then modern influences. There's sort of two categories we can put this in. There's the body horror that we didn't actually talk about.
There is some gnarly body horror in this movie.
Gnarly
This movie's got a
body horror.
PG rating.
It's got a PG rating. We'll get to that.
Nuts.
But you have the pod people themselves, who are these weird, like almost fetal but adult-sized yucks as they develop out of plants. You have characters who disintegrate as they.
Did you notice all the trash trucks?
Yeah.
Where they're just like squishing the disintegrated humans and nobody's noticing. I watched it with my son, and the first thing he was like, "What's in that truck? Is that just fake garbage?" And I was like, "Oh, wait and see, bro." I was like, "Just wait and see."
Yeah,
it's you.
And so you have that obviously had an impact on. I can think of another Jeff Goldblum movie, The Fly, that came not too far after.
Mm-hmm.
You have John Carpenter had The Thing, James Gunn's Slither, which is really gross if you haven't seen it.
I have not. I've heard that it's very gross, and I'm not sure I can handle it.
It's really gross.
Yeah.
So you have the body horror that, oh my gosh. The Substance is exactly where I was
going to say. I don't like body horror very much, but The Substance is a great body horror.
Well, it can be done really well. And then the other part is this, the body snatching of it all.
The replacement, yeah.
The replacement, right? So we mentioned Edgar Wright already in this sort of "Are we already pod people" of Shaun of the Dead, but it's homaged even more directly in The World's End.
Absolutely.
Jordan Peele cites this as an inspiration for Get Out. He, I think, has to come up in every episode. It's a rule of the show.
It feels like him and Tarantino. Somehow I actually skipped Tarantino on purpose because I'm just tired of saying his name. But here
I'm going to throw in, just because you've mentioned how much you hate this movie, Robert Rodriguez mentioned The Faculty.
I hate that movie, and I hate Robert Rodriguez. His visual style is the worst.
Another one that is making a splash kind of right now is the Apple TV series from Vince Gilligan, Pluribus, which is an interesting twist on people being sort of body snatched. It's about everyone being sort of consumed into a hive mind for similar motivations as the body snatchers. So yeah, you can definitely feel the tentacles of this movie everywhere. And then there's another filmmaker who I would not have expected to be on this list at all.
I mean, actually, a really seminal movie-going experience for me was Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Which one?
The Philip Kaufman.
Yeah.
And really because I was too young to see it, and I went. And I remember being really annoyed because it was a PG. And afterward, I was like, I'm going to take this up with the ratings board.
Why?
Because if it was an R, I wouldn't have been allowed to have gone. And I was so messed up by it.
You thought it should be an R?
Well, only that it would have kept me from going, because I felt like I couldn't unsee the movie. I was so upset by it. And the concept was like the scariest possible thing for me. I mean, if I could have articulated what scared me the most, I would have said that people are familiar but unfamiliar.
That is an unexpected twist.
It's an unexpected. I mean, you think of him, and they're like comedies. They have a little bit of like that existential struggle.
Have you watched Jay Kelly?
No, I haven't watched that one yet.
I wonder, because a lot of that is about like people just not being real around fame and like sort of being these like other versions of themselves, and how like Jay lives in this like in his own kind of strange bubble that he's trying to like break out of.
Pod, if you will.
Oh, you know what? I will. Thank you for offering.
And
I mean,
I love that clip because it came from an unexpected source, and I love being reinforced in my own feelings about a movie.
All right. So does that mean it is time to determine which one is more cinematically important?
It is time to determine which is more cinematically important.
I think this one's maybe a little easier for me.
Me too.
You ready?
I am ready.
On three?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Giving this one to Close Encounters.
I am as well. And just really quickly, my justification for that is I think a lot of the themes that you mentioned, while are very important, they are also pre-Close Encounters. Like, I don't think they came directly from the 1978 film. I think the 1978 film did the best job of it and probably inspired a group of filmmakers, but I think you could go back to the original and get a lot of that from there. Whereas Close Encounters really did something that I don't think any other film before it had done, and became this like Rosetta Stone for filmmakers.
We didn't talk about it too much, but like there's even like the visual language of Close Encounters.
We talked a little bit, but yeah, it's phenomenal.
Like everywhere. I mean,
the truck scene.
Well, like
everything falls.
I went to Disney World last summer, and they have the drive-in Sci-Fi theater restaurant.
Yeah,
that is a scene from Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, it is.
That just that rural aliens getting the pickup truck, like that I didn't realize came from a specific place, comes from this specific place.
I played video games that come from this place.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it is everywhere, and
it's become
it is
so influential you don't even recognize it as influence.
Yeah, this is sort of like the Treasure Sierra Madre issue, though, where it's like it's almost too much but this one is just such a cultural touchstone.
Absolutely.
All right, Michael. Last question, the most important
the
question.
All-important
As we
question.
say, I say at the beginning of every episode, this is the all-important question. Which one is more entertaining? So, like, where are you leaning on this one, buddy? Like, what scenes are sticking out to you right now? It's just like those, like, roller coaster hands in the air. I had a blast watching this.
This one is really tough.
Yeah.
I think there's, in Close Encounters, you have Roy's, like, his close encounter, at the train track,
Which
in the
is
truck.
So good.
It's so good.
So good.
You have like the final scene that we talked about. You have the scene in the house with all of the lights, Jillian's house. I mean, we touched on it, but
everything with Truffaut and Balaban is absolutely electric.
Is so great
As they travel the world in their UN trucks and meet people when they're in
and
India,
they're just like the way they vibe off of each other.
Where did you learn that sound? And 1,000 people at the same moment.
Yeah.
Oh, that shit is it just awes you.
Mm-hmm. And then I mean, an underrated set piece, I think, and the scene that precedes it is when Roy is just like ripping shit out of his yard and the neighbor's yard and throwing it through a window, and then just builds the monolith of Devil's Tower in his living room. Like, just so many like scenes and set pieces and emotions that like just stick with you.
He makes an emotional meltdown, a psychotic meltdown, somehow deeply entertaining. I actually, I meant to say things that don't work about the movie. The one thing that I think doesn't quite work is I think Richard Dreyfuss was the right age, but I think he looks too old for the role. I think it would have worked better if he looked a little younger. I know that Spielberg actually didn't want to cast him initially. He's not one who wants to work with the same actors over and over again. But plans fell through. Dreyfuss was there. He wanted to do it. But I think he looks a little too old for the role.
And it is also a little bit weirdly constructed from a pacing perspective.
I mean, I actually love it, but yes.
Like, it doesn't have like a very clean 3-act structure.
No, it doesn't. You have these two concurrent narratives that are happening.
You know, it's a movie that could feel like it has these like fits and starts and is maybe slow in places. Now, what Spielberg puts on the screen in each of those moments like really keeps me there. Yeah. So it's not really a sin, but I think, you know, on paper it's a flaw.
Well, I mean, again, it's, you know, those rules are there to be broken, but you want to break them with intention. I think this film does a phenomenal job of breaking with intention. So to me, it's not just not a flaw. I actually think it's another bonus in the realm of entertaining in that it surprises and delights because it doesn't do what you expect it to do.
And then on the side of Body Snatchers,
the tension is so good.
It's the tension, right? This whole movie just it gets in you, right? It does its own sort of body snatching in that I'm not just watching a movie and absorbing a story. I am feeling every beat on the screen. I am in the place of these characters. I'm fearing what they're fearing. I'm frustrated by what they're frustrated by. We have that scene in the library that I think is a perfect setup for the movie. There's another scene where Matthew is trying to just get some help. And he's trying to get in touch with anyone who might have.
This is when he calls DC, right?
It's when he calls DC. And
my son was like, "What are they going to do? Call the president?" And I was like, "Just you wait. They're going to try."
You're trying. And everyone he talks to is, "Calm down, dude. What are you talking about? We don't want people to get in a tizzy. Why are you in a tizzy?" That scene is crazy and just like, I don't know. That one hit me hard. You have the scene where, you know, they find the pod people of themselves and they try to bring in the authority to show them like, look, I'm not insane. I have my physical evidence here. And then the physical evidence is gone.
And it's replaced with like a weird little model too, which you're just like,
which makes them look crazier.
Exactly.
Like,
I agree. And then the performances in it are just electric too.
But
I will say this: Veronica Cartwright, who plays Nancy Belichick, I wanted more. Like the fact that she's sort of this ancillary character. She's not in the beginning. You don't really meet her until you get to the mud baths.
Yeah, you're kind of halfway through.
And she's so fucking good in it. Like, she delivers that amazing scene at the end where like she has learned how to like live among the pod people, which again I love. But she is definitely someone where it's like, I get enough of everybody I want in Close Encounters. I do want more.
Yeah, but what I do love about her character, and this is another thing that just like gets with me, right, is that she's the one who figures out how to survive. But the way that she figures out how to survive is by sacrificing everything that makes her her.
So I know.
And so what is she actually
Is it a win?
Done? Yeah, it's... We do this a lot, though, where we knock movies for not giving us enough of something that we love. Instead of being no, you gave me the thing that I love. Yeah, God, this movie.
Well, I do think it is, again, time to make a phenomenally difficult decision.
It is. All right.
We're going on 3?
We're going on 3.
Count us in.
1, 2, 3. All right. I went Body Snatchers.
I went Close Encounters for a sweep.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, I mean, this one is really close. I don't think we could like tally it on paper and me necessarily come up with math to determine my answer. I just liked it more. Like I just consistently, like that feeling that it gave me, I was so brought into the movie in a way that I couldn't escape. That
I get it.
Yeah.
I think for me, Close Encounters takes it because, and this is funny because this is usually you, but the set pieces. It's just every set.
Those set pieces are great.
There isn't a single set piece.
They're
that doesn't work. The destroyer in the desert. Like again, just you see it and it's just wonder.
And it's there for like 2 seconds.
Because the first thought you have is like within the narrative, you're like, how did that get there? And then you're like, how the fuck did Spielberg get that there? And like that, like that next feeling, it levels up your just wonder at the movie. Oh man, this is, I'm going to just say it now. I think that this is in fact the toughest call we've had to make.
I agree.
Like these two movies are so, as much as I am giving everything right now to Close Encounters, like it is by a hair's breadth every single time because I absolutely love these movies. And removing one of them from the watch list feels like we are doing
It's a crime.
Yeah. You want to commit a crime with me?
We're going to have to.
All right. Well, in that case, if you would like to be my accomplice in the crime, let's remove a movie from the watch list. On 3?
There's no good option.
There really isn't.
All right. 1,
2,
3.
Wow. We got another split vote.
We did. We got a split vote.
I love a good split vote.
I knew you were going to do what you were going to do.
I think I knew what I was going to do. I wasn't 100% sure until I switched on emotional connection. We started talking.
Wasn't sure coming into today. So this morning, my drive into the studio, I did not know what I was going to do. This is probably the first time I really, truly didn't know what I was going to do. There were other times where I maybe could have been convinced, but I had an idea. This was a tie until we talked about it. And really, the entertaining for me, I put it on Body Snatchers. I think it's a tie. Cinematic importance, Close Encounters definitely gets.
Yeah.
Emotional connection for me as we were having that conversation, and it really got me rolling, and I was reliving what I felt in that movie.
It's more you. It speaks to your fears, your anxieties.
This movie just can't be cut.
Yeah. Hey, I hear you, man. I'm not happy about cutting any of them. I think for me, I can't cut Close Encounters because there is a feeling that you get when you go to the movies, and very few movies capture it.
Yeah.
Where it just elevates you, it transports you, it fills you with wonder, it fills you with hope. And Close Encounters somehow, despite Roy Neary's very flawed existence, it's still like, I walk away from that movie. If I was a 6, I was feeling that day, there's no way I'm coming out of it lower than an 8 or a 9. It just elevates my day. If I had been there in 1977 and seen that on screens, I think it would have changed my life. Like, it's something that's just very special.
I mean, I'm not going to try to talk you out of it.
No. I'm not going to talk you out of Invasion. Invasion is phenomenal. So
there was no bad choice to save and no good choice to cut.
Well, that means it's going to go to a poll. We'll post a poll on YouTube. We'll post a poll on Instagram. You all can vote which movie will make the watch list. We will announce the results in a future episode when we have enough votes to tell you, and then you'll know which one's on the Essential Cut watch list. So stay tuned and watch future episodes, and please vote. We're curious to know what you think. And honestly, like, what's nice when we get a split vote is you get to watch both.
You get to watch both, and you should absolutely watch both.
I thought we were cutting watch lists, Michael, not telling people to watch both.
I'm realizing that maybe.
Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. And you know what? In both instances, 100% okay with it.
Yeah.
We get to watch good movies on this pod, man.
It's the best part.
I know. We get to watch such good movies. All right. Take us out, buddy.
Next time on The Essential Cut, we are leaving behind visitors from beyond the stars and hitting the road with sadists in fast cars.
It's 2 a.m. and TV viewers everywhere are crying out for blood. Thankfully, Lou Bloom and his camera will happily deliver.
680 to 90, 10-4.
Nightcrawler is a pitch-black mirror held up to a society that's addicted to other people's tragedies. It's a warning that in our gig economy, the ultimate hustle isn't just capturing other people's pain, it's manufacturing it. If we lose Nightcrawler, we lose the terrifying reality about our own addiction to other people's pain. If we lose Drive, we lose one of the coolest, most brutal modern myths to come out of Hollywood.
Like, subscribe, rate, and this time especially comment on the episode. Checking those boxes, giving us the feedback really helps the show. You can follow me at Michael_upleft on Instagram, Letterboxd, Threads. Ian, where do we find you?
I am at Ian_upleft, Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd as well. Doing my movie reviews and, I don't know, putting pictures of my dog, I guess.
Picking fights.
Trying not to pick any fights lately. No, I've been good.
You've been behaving yourself?
I have.
And then, of course, remember to join us next week. We will be pitting Drive against Nightcrawler. Only one can be saved and put on the essential watch list, and the other will be deleted forever.
Bye for now. Disclosure Day is coming out this Friday. Thursday for a lot of people. So are you going to go see it?
Yeah, I'll be seeing it for
You'll
sure.
be seeing it, especially after seeing Close Encounters.
Yes, actually, Close Encounters is the reason I have gone from like a probably to a definitely. The marketing of Disclosure Day has been really bizarre. I have no idea what this movie is going to be about.
And the rumor is that was intentional because it is in fact a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, that it takes place in the same world. Now, I just played a clip
about Spielberg talking about Arrival
and saying that he never really saw Close Encounters as having a sequel. And now there's a possibility that in 2026, nearly 50 years later, which is mind-boggling that this man is still making movies at this caliber, is going to have a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is still maybe my favorite Spielberg movie.
Yeah, I really hope that those rumors are true. See, this is where the marketing like has me so confused about what this movie even is.
And again, I wonder if they're not disclosing much about it because they're trying to get us real excited.
But again, like the one thing that the buzz around Disclosure Day has been is it's like Spielberg revisiting aliens, blah blah blah.
That was what I heard.
I like E.T. I don't love E.T.
You know what? I know unpopular opinion, but like I have a real hard time with E.T.
Yeah, but if this is what he's coming back to re-explore, like holy shit, I'm there.
I'm so there. And with the cast that he's got on there, between Coleman Domingo and Emily Blunt and Colin Firth and Josh O'Connor, like it is a phenomenal cast. If this is the world that we're going to, I will tell you, I will be first in line at that movie when this episode comes out. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. And the fact that Close Encounters holds up so well, has themes that feel very relevant today, means that it is prime for a revisiting. And so I'm really hoping that's what we're about to get.
Ooh, obviously we have no idea if Disclosure Day is going to hit the way we want it to.
This could be completely wrong. We could be sounding very foolish.
I was going to say, but if it is really good, we should do like a 2026 Project Hail Mary versus Disclosure Day matchup.
Which one was that? The one we don't care about?
Yeah, that's fine. It was the wide.
Okay, you want to say that again?
No, it's fine. Yeah. We lost the wide camera.
We lost. Yeah.
It just went to sleep. I don't know why. It's angry at us.
Yeah. I mean, if Disclosure Day hits, if we don't come out of this conversation looking very foolish in retrospect, I mean, I think we both really love Project Hail Mary, so it'll be another one that we'll hate having to make a cut on.
Which that's the whole point. We're supposed to hate having to make the cut. If it were easy.
If it were just two like shitty movies where we're like, oh, I have to save one of these.
Yeah. Like, I mean, did we do that last week? No, we didn't do that.
No,
it wasn't shitty.
No.
In Waterworld wasn't shitty either, honestly.
No. They were just definitely different conversation.
So we'll see you at the movies. Definitely go see Disclosure Day. I don't know if I'm fingers crossed that it's a sequel, but if it is a sequel, holy shit.
I am very much fingers crossed that it's a sequel.
I'm usually anti-sequel, but
and
there's
that
something
it
about
lives up to it.
Like that is a legacy sequel. 50
years later. And it won't be direct. It'll be like spiritual.
I know.
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. All right. Next time on The Essential Cut, we'll talk. We'll tell you. We'll say. Yeah,
tell you if it's good.
Yeah, probably. Actually, I guess we won't because we won't have seen it yet.
It won't be
We're
next
recording
time.
this now.
It'll be some other time.
Some other time on The Essential Cut. Some other time on The Essential Cut, we will tell you if we like Disclosure Day. Disclosure Day. Disclosure Day. We'll tell you if we like it. I'm going to stop talking now. Later, of all. The Essential Cut is an Uplift Media production. Written, researched, and hosted by Ian Tarter and Michael Smith. Produced, sound engineered, and edited by Ian Tarter. With special thanks to Rosie Page.